Happy birthday to me. Happy Pulse 1027 day to the rest of you. Hasbro revealed a few more products today, some of which I'm very excited about. Maybe you get an idea of which one was my favorite based on the t shirt, but there's a lot to talk about really quickly. Let's get into it right now. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. Today is actually my birthday, so that means this is not going to be a very long, very extended show. I'm just going to do a quick recap on all the things that I cared about from Pulse 1027. Apologies, Star Wars Vintage Collection collectors. Let's start off with G.I. Joe Classified Series. Not a whole lot new. Got some more photos, a little bit more studio shots, and a cool interview with Joshua Williamson, the architect of the Energon Universe G.I. Joe series. Number one starts up next month. I recommend all those. Duke, Cobra Commander, of which is really important to this Nemesis Immortal figure. Scarlet, not as much, but Destro, great. So 3 out of 4, really awesome. Scarlet's not bad. It's just it ends on a weird cliffhanger. Anyway, back to Nemesis Immortal. We got to see some really great photos of him, and this is just one of the studio shots, and he looks massive and cool. Lenny made sure to break down why they chose to do certain elements and not make him as sleek and streamlined as that original Real American Hero figure. And it makes sense. He looks really formidable. Definitely somebody who can give Sergeant Slaughter a whole mess of problems. So I really like how this figure turns out. As always, the real thing is how much is this figure going to cost? Here is a shot, another one, which I'm really intrigued about with Lenny and Joshua Williamson. You can see Nemesis Immortal in the background or in the main shot, but I'm really curious about who the heck this figure is in the back. I mean, this does not kind of immediately make me think of anyone. I mean, Pythona doesn't have like antennae hanging from the top of her head or wielding a big sword. Maybe is this the Royal Guard? Maybe they've done like a whole new revamp on how they look. I guess they could work in that sense because they're the only ones that I can think of that have daggers or swords. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what that actually is in the background lurking. I always love those Easter eggs, so it'll be really fun to see what we actually get. That was it from G.I. Joe, though. So it's a little bit disappointing. I mean, just yesterday, we got the news of Retro Flint coming. Awesome. Retro cover girl with the blonde hair, rocking her look from the cartoon, not the comic book. And we also got Retro Televiper coming. We saw the render of Blowtorch, the render of the Frag Viper, production shots of Heavy Duty, the Cobra perimeter defense. So it wasn't like, hey, what's with the lack of G.I. Joe news? There wasn't. We got that over the course of the weekend. I'm pretty cool, satisfied with what we got on the G.I. Joe front. We also got some Star Wars news, and this one really was the most surprising. I know they announced this character a while ago, but I was really happy to see him. But first, really quickly, Vintage Collection, they get Yord from Star Wars Acolyte and Obi-Wan Kenobi in his final outfit from his miniseries. So we got those added on there. But the Black Series, Soul reveal on the Black Series front was one I was really hyped about. And that's this guy, Savage Opress. Hot Toys just revealed their version. He looks amazing. But now we get a Black Series one. And I'm really excited about how this figure turned out. I think they did a great job. All that detailing on his shoulder pauldrons. Then he got the little straps there on his arms, the armor gauntlets. I mean, they got all the elements of this outfit down really nicely. Unlike the Hot Toys, which just kind of makes sense. We don't have the cracked horns on his head. That's fine. This is a basic version, so I'm cool with this. He's got his really long lightsaber, soft goods cloth skirt here. That way he can pose and do all those great movements when he's teaming up with Darth Maul going against the Jedi. So really happy with that. Here's another look at him and battle stance, so you can see and really appreciate the fact that, hey, a plastic skirt was going to cause all kinds of issues here. They can get a wider stance with that, so that's good. He looks like he's got enough range in those elbows to basically hit the same kind of range as having double jointed elbows. I really like how this figure turned out. I wish they had shown just one image with him with somebody else, maybe a Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, so we could really appreciate the scale. He looks tall. He's a deluxe offering. So the one thing I kind of feel like a lot of Star Wars Black Series collectors have somewhat been burnt on, where there's a cool deluxe figure like Chrysanthemum, and you pay that original $35 price point for him, then he drops to like $10. You're seeing him at Ollie's, and it's like, why not rush out to back this thing? But I'm probably going to pre-order it right away. Maybe what I'm going to do is wait for Target to have one of their inevitable sales, pre-order them then, or buy him when Target has a sale, because he looks like a really great figure. And as I continue to say, I want all the Clone Wars major characters. Savage, definitely a major important character in that series. So it's another one off my list. Really happy. As in terms of actual birthday reveals, this was the one I was most excited about, and they delivered. So very good stuff. Congratulations, Star Wars Black Team. You did it. You took care of business today with just one reveal. Then we got the long awaited, and maybe some would argue long overdue, reveal the Studio Series 86 Transformers Devastator. And this is interesting because the team wrote down how this is going to come together. And it made sense. And then we got some comparison shots of the grayscale model, which I really appreciate, because it's like, great. I don't have to envision. I don't have to imagine. They had them on hand. And, they said the colors, they're going to improve a little bit more green, which I like. That's cool. Just give us that by the moment update, which is great. Here's how Devastator looks with Minosaur, and you can see he's not towering over him, pretty much in scale, just a little bit wider, which is really good, because I feel like if you have combiners, that's more what you want to see. They showed off Scrapper and Bone Crusher today, and they just kind of gave us a look at how these guys are going to make the foundation for Devastator. So really cool to see this. But then, of course, people online were like, well, I don't know about this deal, especially as they revealed the pricing for them. And this is where it was kind of like a little bit interesting. So in April, and they made sure to say you're not going to have to wait 2 years to finish building up Devastator. In April, you get Bone Crusher, you get Scrapper. Bone Crusher is a deluxe figure, $25. Scrapper is a Voyager price point. He's $34.99 or 35, whichever way you want to go. Then they've got a 2-pack with Voyager, Long Haul, and Hook. And that's going to be $89.99. They explained it by saying this is going to be the pack that has all the different elements, like the lasers and all kinds of deals, like his shield. So it's not just going to be, well, here's the 2 combiners added on. They're going to throw in a little bit more. So there you go, a 2-pack. Hopefully we do get a lot of good extras with that. In September, we're going to get a deluxe version of Scavenger, $25.99, $24.99. Let's get this together. Voyager Mixmaster at $34.99. So we'll have all of them by September. That's exciting, but of course they say the on-shelf date's subject to change. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll still get Devastator knocked out. If you're curious though, like, hey man, how much is this price point going to be on these? That's $210, not including tax with these guys. And one of my buddies shared with our text thread, or kind of interesting comparison. Hey, how does this guy look next to the Combiner Wars Devastator? And here's a better frame of reference on that with the the Kingdom Minosaur. They can see this Combiner Wars Devastator is huge, like really noticeably taller. And there's that kind of conundrum where, you've already built Minosaur. This Devastator just looks ridiculously taller than him, where it doesn't even work in the same, they don't even look like they're part of the same line. And here's this version where, yeah, Devastator's wider and he's a little bit taller, but it looks like they're part of the same universe. I really should have taken a screenshot with Prime there with these guys so you can get a better sense of how he looks with them. Let me see if I can try to pull that up really fast and really quickly for you, but Prime kind of matches up nicely with them. Their breakdown in terms of the scaling, the Scrapper is about the same height as Ratchet and Ironhide, so they're gonna fit and they're gonna look taller and bigger, but they're not gonna be eye to eye with Optimus, which to me is important. And Optimus should only be looking really eye to eye with Megatron, and the jets should be a little bit shorter. Then you got your Jetfires, you got your Ultra Magnus, those special characters that are bigger and taller than Optimus. But this looks really good. I like that scaling, but that Combiner Wars Devastator was 110 versus the 210 you're going to spend for a shorter version of Devastator. Now, I don't know if scale really matters to you, but that's kind of tricky in the sense of, boy, you're really going to pay literally 2 times as much for this Devastator compared to the one that's taller and so much wider and bigger. Again, the only thing is that Devastator is really out of scale compared to the other combiners. Now, if Minosaur doesn't matter to you, then whatever. But I'm really curious to see where people are going to go with this, because you got your smaller one that fits in better with the rest of the Studio Series figures, but you got one that looks more intimidating and more awesome and awe-inspiring. I guess if you don't have the Combiner Wars Devastator, here you go. Not a cheaper option, but certainly another option for you. So then we move on to Marvel Legends, and this one, they didn't really have a whole lot to show here either. We got some more looks at the Captain America from his new movie upcoming. They mentioned something I thought was kind of interesting. They're not apparently going to do a full wave of Captain America Brave New World figures. It's just 3 deluxes. They're like, oh, we considered maybe doing a Build-A-Figure, but then it became a thing of not being able to pack the detail. Maybe Captain America and Falcon don't have their wings. You remember, of course, that earlier Sam Wilson Captain America figure did not come with wings. They were the Build-A-Wings for his wave of Disney What If figures. So you get that here, and I really do think they look better. I mean, the wings look good. I think Jesse went a little overboard saying, hey, G.I. Joe Classified Series team, we think we've got you guys. I'm like, slow down, slow all the way down. You guys have done like one set of wings that look really great. And I think Raptor in that sense looks just as good. So let's hold off on inviting comparisons with the Classified Series team. But Falcon, Captain America, both look good. Not hating on that end. And there's a really cool shot where Falcon is actually using Falcon. I am going to have so much trouble not calling Sam Falcon. Well, Captain America is using his wings to block. So that's kind of cool. Here's a shot now of the new Falcon, which is equally going to be confusing. And let's see what these wings look like, a little bit closer detail. I would love for the Marvel Legends team to incorporate this with, say, the Vulture. He could use that and really benefit from this setup. Yeah, I mean, the detailing looks really good. Falcon looks straight. They did not have an unmasked or helmetless portrait for Falcon. It's just this one where you can see his half face, or the fully enclosed version, which I thought was really interesting because I think a lot of people would like to see the full actor's portrait. But yeah, no go here. One reveal that I thought was very cool was this guy, Red Hulk, and he fits in so well that I think if you haven't bought the earlier previous Red Hulk ones, this one does the job just fine. And you don't have to worry about anything because he's a deluxe figure. You don't have to spend any effort trying to track him down, build up all the pieces to get this Hulk. And I think it looks really good. And there's not a deal of, oh man, he just does not fit in with my comic book collection. He does just fine. And he looks like he's got a little bit better range than some of the other Hulk figures we've seen. So hopefully we'll see what happens with that. That might be the one that I'm most interested in with this movie set, simply so I can use him with my comic book characters. Now, they had one more reveal that I was pretty intrigued with, and you guys know I've been talking. The Marvel Legends team starts teams, but then they don't finish them. But they look like they're actually focused on knocking out the Dark Avengers. They referenced the team again. They were like, hey, remember that Cabal box set? And we had Norman Osborn is Iron Patriot. Well, how about adding a few more members, or at least one more member to the team? So we saw that today. You can see the look here of the team. Miss Marvel, Iron Patriot, Ares, and he was a build-a figure. They made him a deluxe standalone figure. He could benefit from a new articulation mold and updated sculpting, but he doesn't look out of place with modern Marvel Legend figures. So I kind of have him as a lower priority. Over to the side, which in this image you don't see, is Sentry. Got him with the updated figure. Got Dakin, Wolverine's bastard son. Outside of the tattoos, he can kind of fit in, but we do need a new version of him because he used that old, outdated mold. Hawkeye, aka Bullseye, probably could use a new figure. I feel like they could get away with making Dakin and Hawkeye in a box set because it's like, okay, it's sort of like a repaint, but paying individually for those guys might be kind of funny. And if you've got a symbiote Spider-Man, you've got Venom here, so they're well represented on that front. So we got our first look at the Marvel Legends Dark Avengers Warbird, aka Miss Marvel, aka Moonstone. This figure looks really good. They're using that Captain Marvel Black Widow mold, I guess more so the Warbird mold because it was blank. They didn't sculpt some of the elements that they could have, but here you go. This figure looks good, mashes up really well with the source material on both ways. Ryan teased that, hey, maybe we'll get some more different looks for her. I am very curious about what the deal is with the white eyes. It's just she doesn't do that in the comic book. And I'm just kind of like, why do we do this? You can't see with this Mike Diodato art, but that's not really how she's rocking the look. They did include her scarf. So when you're doing some posing and with this abdominal piece here, the mid-torso joint, you'll be able to get some nice flared shots with it. Maybe there's a soft enough material plastic use for this, so it won't be in the way. You got to assume she's going to have some fists and some power bolts. But, the real other accessory that I'm hoping for is just simply a short-haired Carol Danvers head. So you can buy two and they get you on the two for where you can just have this. So she's in her original Miss Marvel look. You can put her with your 70s Avengers. That's a win. And I really was diligent, like, hey, what's going on? Now she's rocking the blue black kind of setup where you look at it one way, it's blue, you look at it the other, it's black. So I don't know if they would feel the need to go, hey, let's do a blue black version. I think for the most part, this is cool. Maybe you want to repaint these black sections blue. I was really happy they actually nailed the look of the costume where she's got her short shorts and they're captured really well. Nice job here. Also, bonus, and it changed this outfit, this look from Earth's Mightiest Heroes. You might have heard me mention how great this cartoon is. Now you got your Warbird head sculpt. You can just throw that on there. And see the difference where it's a full domino mask. The way they've done this one for the figure, there's no need for her eyes to be whited out. Really confused about that, but otherwise, I think this is a nice figure. Really happy to see them adding another team member to get a team complete. Now, is Dark Avengers a priority in terms of you've got to get them done first? No, I think X-Force, Excalibur, X-Factor, there's a couple other teams that I'd rather see completed first. But if you're going to get one done, just get it done. So I'm happy about that. And apparently there's going to be another festival going on Halloween. And Dan already tweeted we're going to see some more reveals on Halloween. I don't know if they're going to be horror themed or if they're just going to be random characters plucked out of the blue. But we'll see. And I'll do a little recap if there's anything interesting with those reveals. They're not just more MCU reveals because that is exciting to me. One thing that did kind of disappoint me was they're not going to do a Cap MCU movie wave. It kind of hurts the chances of getting some comic book characters that are associated with Captain America or Falcon in the wave. And Diamondback is rumored to be in this. And I feel like that was a great opportunity to get a Serpent Society comic book accurate Diamondback in the mix. So hopefully we still will get her. She's on the list for 2025. Fingers crossed. But solid, decent reveals. Here's the rundown of everything that's going to be up for pre-order tomorrow, 1 p.m. if you're a Pulse Premium member, 2 p.m. if you're not. Nemesis Immortal goes up from the Classified series, Bone Crusher, Scrapper from Transformers. Then we got Savage Opress, the Black series, along with Yord and Obi-Wan on the Vintage Collection. Then Captain America, Falcon, Red Hulk also go on pre-order tomorrow. Miss Marvel / Warbird, she goes up November 7th. Not quite sure why they stood her apart, but whatever. Happy we're going to get her. Excuse me. Jeez. Happy we're going to get her. So there we go on that end. And good times. More Marvel Legends. Savage Opress finally joining my Black Series collection. Some more shots of Nemesis Immortal. We're all set. We're good to go. Happy to see it. Happy birthday to me. Hope you all are having an awesome day. For now, this episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed.